Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome for the first time. Today we're diving deep into a topic that I guarantee at least 60 to 70% of you watching right now will relate to on a spiritual level. The psychology of people who hate confrontation. You know who you are. You're the person who says, "It's fine," when it's absolutely not fine. You'd rather swallow broken glass than tell the waiter they got your order wrong. You let people cut in line, you apologize when someone else bumps into you, and you've probably ended friendships with a slow fade-out instead of ever saying, "Hey, what you did actually really hurt me." If that sounds familiar, or if you live with, work with, or love someone like this video is for you. We're going to unpack exactly why some people are wired to avoid confrontation at almost any cost, what's happening in their brain and body when conflict shows up, the hidden long-term price they pay, and most importantly, how to start getting better at it without turning into an entirely different person. Hit that like button if you already know you're a confrontation avoider, and let's get into it. First, let's be clear, hating confrontation isn't the same as just being nice or chill. It's an intense, often visceral stress response that feels like a threat to your safety, because on a nervous system level, that's exactly what it is. There are four major roots that create this pattern. Early childhood environment. If you grew up in a house where anger was explosive, unpredictable, or punished severely, your brain learned very quickly, conflict equals danger. Even if your parents never hit you, if raised voices led to days of cold silence, doors slamming, or someone storming out, your tiny child brain filed that under survival threat. The opposite is also true. If you were the peacemaker in a chaotic family, you might have been rewarded, consciously or unconsciously, every time you smoothed things over. Being the good one who never rocked the boat became part of your identity. Attachment-style people with anxious or fearful avoidant attachment, especially anxious preoccupied, often see confrontation as a fast lane to abandonment. Their core belief is, if I upset this person, they will leave me. So they people-please, they accommodate, they self-abandon, anything to keep the relationship intact. High sensitivity and empathy overload. Highly empathetic people literally feel other people's emotions in their own body. When you can feel someone getting defensive or hurt, confrontation feels like you're stabbing yourself and the other person at the same time. For neurodivergent folks, especially those with rejection-sensitive dysphoria, common in ADHD and autism, the anticipated pain of rejection is so intense that avoidance feels like the only rational choice. Cultural and gender conditioning. In many cultures, especially collectivist ones, harmony is valued above individual needs. And let's be honest, women are still socialized more heavily to be agreeable, likable, and non-threatening. A 2022 meta-analysis found that women report higher levels of conflict avoidance than men across 40 countries, not because of biology, but because of socialization. So if you hate confrontation, chances are it's a cocktail of biology, upbringing, and culture, not because you're weak or broken. Let's zoom into the moment conflict appears. Someone says, "We need to talk," or criticizes your work, or even just uses a slightly sharp tone. For the average person, stress hormones rise a bit. For chronic confrontation avoiders, it's closer to a 5-alarm fire. Your amygdala, the fear center, lights up like a Christmas tree. Cortisol and adrenaline flood your system. Your prefrontal cortex, the rational thinking part, starts to go offline. Heart rate spikes, palms sweat, stomach drops. This is full fight-flight-freeze-fawn mode. Most confrontation avoiders default to the lesser-known fourth trauma response, fawn. Fawning means you rush to soothe, appease, agree, laugh it off, anything to make the threat go away. You might hear yourself say things like, "I'm sorry, it's probably my fault." "No worries, I didn't even notice." "Yeah, you're totally right." Even when none of that is true. And here's the cruel part, every time you successfully avoid the confrontation, your brain gets a dopamine reward for keeping you safe. So the avoidance pathway gets stronger and stronger. It's literally reinforced learning, like a slot machine that pays out every time you people please. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, if avoiding confrontation keeps the peace and makes everyone like me, what's the problem? The problem is the price tag is massive, you just pay it in slow motion. Resentment poisoning. Every swallowed word becomes a drop of resentment. Over years, you can end up bitterly hating people you never once told the truth to. That resentment leaks out passively. Sarcasm, procrastination, gossip, silent treatment. Physical health toll. Chronic stress from unexpressed emotions is linked to IBS, tension headaches, autoimmune issues, high blood pressure, even higher rates of cancer in some studies. Dr. Gabor Mate calls this the stress disease connection. When you repress emotions to keep relationships, your body keeps the score. Depression and anxiety, you teach yourself that your needs don't matter. Over time, that becomes the belief, I don't matter. Hello, depression. Attracting narcissistic or boundary-violating people who hate confrontation are like catnip for manipulators.
Why?
Because you've pre-trained yourself never to push back. You become the perfect host for someone else's bad behavior. Stunted personal growth. Every confrontation you avoid is a missed opportunity to practice courage, clarity, and self-respect. You stay emotionally small because you never flex that muscle. I had a client once who hadn't asked for a raise in 8 years, despite being the top performer, because she was terrified of seeming greedy. She was making 30% less than new hires doing the same job. That's what avoidance can cost you in real money. Okay, enough doom and gloom. Let's talk solutions. You do not have to become aggressive or loud to get better at confrontation. Healthy confrontation is just truth plus kindness plus boundaries. Here are 7 practical steps that actually work. Step 1. Name the fear out loud to yourself. Next time you feel that stomach drop, pause and say internally, I'm having a fear response right now. This feels like danger, but it's not. Naming it activates your prefrontal cortex and starts calming the amygdala. Step 2. Use the 10-second rule. When something bothers you, you have about 10 seconds before the avoidance pathway kicks in automatically. Force yourself to open your mouth within those 10 seconds, even if it's just, hey, can we talk about something really quick? Step 3. Start microscopic practice with low-stakes situations. Send the slightly wrong food back. Tell your friend, actually, 8 p.m. doesn't work for me. Can we do 7:30? These tiny reps rebuild your tolerance faster than you think. Step 4. Script with the I formula instead of you always or you never. Try, I felt hurt when .. happened. What I need going forward is It's assertive without being aggressive. Step 5. Use the broken record technique for boundary pushers. When someone keeps arguing after you've said no, calmly repeat the same sentence, I'm not available to discuss this right now. Again, I'm not available to discuss this right now. You don't owe new explanations. Step 6. Schedule the hard conversations. If you're terrified, literally put it on the calendar. I'd like to talk about something important. Are you free Thursday at 7? Having a set time lowers the dread because your brain knows it's contained. Step 7. Get professional backup if needed. If confrontation sends you into full panic attacks or dissociation, that's a sign of deeper trauma. Therapies like EMDR, somatic experiencing, or even good old CBT can rewire the fear response. Here's the bottom line. Hating confrontation doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a person who learned very early that conflict could destroy the safety you desperately needed. But as an adult, you now have the power to update that old software. You don't have to love confrontation. You just have to stop letting the fear of it steal your voice, your health, your money, and your self-respect. Start small. Be kind to yourself when it's messy. Every time you speak up, even imperfectly, you're casting a vote for the version of you that gets to take up space. If this video helped you, drop a comment with the situation you're most scared to confront right now. No need to give details, just my roommate, my boss, my mom, whatever. Let's normalize this together. And if you want more scripts like this on attachment, people-pleasing, and emotional growth, subscribe and hit the bell. I post every single week. Thank you so much for watching. You've got this. I'm rooting for you. I'll see you in the next one.